Hey guys, this is Lala Legacy and welcome back to another episode of Little Busters. So before we start, if you haven't already, subscribe because that would mean the world to me, and after this video is over, if you liked it, please hit that like button as well. Now, let's get into this. There was a flower vase on the top of the cheerful blue and red tablecloth. All the various spices and sauces were arranged neatly on a special tray. Delicious looking food had been lined up tightly together on the table. "May I ask your name?" I gave her my name. "I see. That's a wonderful name. Isn't it, Haruka? You think so too, right?" "Yeah." "Would you like seconds?" "Yes, thank you." "Eat as much as you like." "Thank you very much." I ate some rice with my chopsticks. There was steamy white or warm rice, and a mountain of side dishes, though the atmosphere was still strange. "So, Haruka, how has school been lately?" "Isn't there a big test coming up soon?" "That's right, there was. Do your best, Haruka." "Be sure to write your name. Can't forget that." "Right." The one who had made the food was Haruka-san's dad. Rather than sitting still, he was constantly moving back and forth between the kitchen stove and the dining table. Haruka-san's mom was sitting diagonally to my left. I shot a furtive glance at Haruka-san, seated by my side. Right, I know." Haruka-san was replying to everything in monotone. She was just blandly agreeing with everything. The conversation flowed by without really touching us. Everyone spoke without listening. That was the kind of frigid dinner it was. "Is everything going well with your friends?" "Don't make any trouble for your neighbors at the dorm." "It's all right. Haruka's not like that, right, Haruka?" "Yeah." "Is that so? Well, that's good." "Yeah. We had this conversation before, last week." When Haruka-san murmured those words, the atmosphere froze solid. The dining room fell silent, and there was no way to revive that conversation. Ugh. I returned to the school together with Haruka-san. "Sorry." I wondered what it was she was apologizing for. Haruka-san hadn't said anything since we left the house. "Sorry." "You don't have to apologize. The food was good." Haruka-san started to open her mouth. But in the end, she didn't say anything and instead shook her head. "Thanks, Riki-kun." "Thanks," she mouthed again. "Thanks for hanging out with me today." How could I respond to Haruka-san in that situation? Before I could come up with anything to say, Haruka-san turned away. "See you tomorrow. Bye-bye." Good night." Her twin tails vanished into the dark school building. As soon as she was gone, it hit me that perhaps I should have said, "Can I walk you to your dorm?" I mentally kicked myself for having missed the opportunity. I was returning from transporting some documents for the homeroom teacher. On my way down the stairs, I noticed a girl peeking into the corridor. I wonder if I overdid it." "Haruka-san?" "Well, oh, it's just Riki-kun." "What's with that reaction?" I grimaced in chagrin. I don't know. "What's wrong?" "Never mind. I don't even need to ask." "At least ask. That's cold." "You're being chased, right?" "This time I'm not being chased." "What's with that pause?" "I'm being followed." That means the exact same thing. "I can't believe they're out to get me even when I'm just walking normally." "What a bother, don't you think?" "Like it's someone else's problem. How can you act so victimized when I'm sure those are marbles bulging out of your jacket pocket?" I'm sure those prefects in pursuit had taken preemptive action to keep her from playing some prank with them. There's no need to sneak around if you're innocent, I mean. "But the prefects think I'm their nemesis or something." "Well, it was orders from the top. What a boring bunch." My dry smile returned. I couldn't exactly call Haruka-san, the frequent disturber of the public peace, innocent. But for some reason, every time I met with this troublemaker, I was feeling a growing sense of incongruity. Was it because of that scene in front of the vending machine? Or was I thinking too hard? The boring one here is you. A voice came out of nowhere, causing Haruka-san to jump a little. Oh, there she is. Count 1, wasting time. Count 2, wasting your energy. Count 3, pouring your efforts into frivolous matters. There stood a girl, wearing a crimson armband. It was someone I had passed by in the hallway occasionally, Futaki-san, the head prefect. Haruka-san defiantly averted her gaze. That's just the way I am. She was definitely not her usual self. Her words were biting, stinging, and thinly veiled attack. She had gone into the insolent mode reserved for dealing with the prefects. Pissed because I hit the nail on the head? Really now? She gave an arrogant laugh. Haruka-san made to talk back, but she couldn't seem to find the words. She just whispered something. Whether it was an insult or foul words, I couldn't make out. You'd better mend your ways while you still can, Saigusa Haruka. Her holier-than-thou attitude was starting to piss me off. Regardless of her history, Haruka-san hasn't done anything, now. You two, that is. You just never learn. Haruka-san kept averting her gaze. What's your relationship with her? She asked while looking straight at me. I don't think I need to answer that. Oh? Even though I have every right to ask? Well, never mind. Even just being near her is enough to stain your student file. Wait! Riki-kun has nothing to do with this! He wasn't doing anything. He just stopped to talk. It's not like we're even friends or anything. Close enough for you to be on first-name basis, it seems. Wait, he's got something to do, or he's got nothing to do with me. Haruka-san began to protest in a fluster. Well, is it as she says? She said that while glancing at me. Her mouth formed a twisted smile. I couldn't see anything but that sneering smile. If you're expecting me to denounce her just because she said that, I'm sorry to disappoint. I doubt there's anyone who would do that. Right. If a person like that existed, they'd be trash, wouldn't you say? Upon hearing my reply, the girl turned back to Haruka-san, her smile dripping venom. So, you were trying to bait your dear friend into becoming that kind of trash, huh? You really are the worst. Haruka-san bit her lip and lowered her head. It was like she had already predicted what I would say, and she used it to set up her attack on Haruka-san, which she repeated again. The worst. Haruka-san fled. Haruka-san! I descended the stairs and was about to chase after Haruka-san when the girl called out to stop me. Don't worry. Saigusa Haruka is used to this kind of thing by now. That's not the problem. Oh, come on. She's nothing but a troublemaker, right? I started to take off again. Wait. Huh? I haven't given you my name. Futaki Kanata. It's a pleasure. I can't think of anything about the situation that is pleasurable. Her voice trailed after me as I left. A pleasure stamping out the filth in this school, I meant. I obviously didn't have anything to say to that. I looked for Haruka-san after that, but couldn't find her. I wonder if she returned to the dorm. I gave up and went back to my own room. With homeroom over, today's classes were finished. I scanned the noisy classroom. What's up, Riki? You're acting all antsy. I started to push my binder into my bag, but then paused, deep in thought. Haruka-san, she wasn't here today. I had texted her in the morning, but there'd been no response. Now that you mention it, I guess that's why it was so peaceful today. Kyosuke descended slickly from the window. What's the matter? Oh, nothing. I just pointed out that Haruka-san didn't come here today. Well, that's bound to happen occasionally. She's in a different class after all. It's actually more normal for her to not show up here. Well, yes, but it might have had something to do with with that thing yesterday. If you're worried, why not go and check for yourself? Huh? Well, that's true. You're gonna go see SAIGUSA on purpose? You're gonna get caught up in whatever trouble she's brewing. Curiosity and cats and all that. If you're worried, it'd be better to go check. Right, got it. You're right, Kyosuke, thanks. I stood from my seat. So, what's going down? Class is over and it's time to party? Kengo came up to us. Well, there was just something I wanted to check out. Pardon him. Sorry. Well, whatever. Thanks, Kengo. I left the classroom. Right. Time to look for Haruka-san. Just to make sure, I tried calling her cell. Nothing. Looks like the power was off. I'll have to take the direct approach. Where should I meet up with her? Come to think of it, I've never thought of actually going to meet up with her before. It's always been Haruka-san that runs into me. So when I tried to think of places I could go to find Haruka-san, I drew a blank. Thinking like this, I really don't know anything about Haruka-san, do I? Which class was she in again? I got the feeling she often skipped. The student list in the faculty office would have her listing, but going there and asking which class is Saigusa-san in would be too embarrassing. She's in the same year, so if I just ask in the classes around here, it should work out. I walked down the corridor. She's not in this class? Thanks. I thanked one of the guys that was still in the classroom and shut the door. So not here. I muttered to myself as I wandered around near the center of the school building. I could be rushing into something downright messy. Something very important to Haruka-san. Should I really keep searching for her? We're gonna continue searching for Haruka-san. I just can't get yesterday out of my head. I shook my head to clear my thoughts. If she'd taken what the head prefect had told her to heart, Haruka-san might be trying to avoid me. If that was the case, I had to tell her that she should ignore the things Futaki-san had said. On the way, I ran into Kud. Haro desu, Riki. It's rare for you to come to this part of the school. Haro, Kud. Isn't the same true for you? It's normal for me since my roommate is here. Ah, I see. Just now, we were going over some questions for the Baku and Abitua. Kud clapped her hands, looking like she had thoroughly enjoyed herself. Stuff like, give proof as to why the sky is blue, or give geometrical proof for the, I can't read that. I don't know what that's supposed to be. A theory of geocentricity. Woohoo! It was so exciting! Is that so? Somehow, I could picture her talking on and on without pausing to give her roommate time to speak. Sorry, Riki, were you in the middle of something? Please pardon me, I didn't mean to interrupt. Kud bowed politely. Well, Riki, excuse me. See you. Bye-bye. Right, bye-bye, Kud. After I saw Kud off, I started walking again. This is the last one. Excuse me. Without thinking, I took a few steps back. Did you need something? Well, the one who appeared was none other than the head prefect. In other words, the girl named Futaki Kanata. Futaki-san, how rare to see you around here. What do you need? Her face was completely expressionless, neither friendly nor unfriendly. I just had something to ask. And what is that? Is Haruka-san in this class? When she heard my question, Futaki-san quirked her lips a little. When I saw that expression, I instantly regretted having asked her. You're a curious one, now, Airiki. I hear that a lot. Stop. You don't really have the right to order around a fellow student, Futaki-san. Who I want to see is up to me. See? Futaki-san said it with a mockery of shock. No, I didn't mean it like that. You didn't mean it like what? What? You're just friends, right? That's... Oh, can't answer right away? Futaki-san seemed to get lost in thought. I wonder if that's a problem or not. I really don't care about any of that. I'm asking if Haruka-san is in this class. She is. She gave me a simple reply. You didn't know? No, I didn't. It was frustrating hearing Futaki-san say it, but it was true, so I couldn't deny it. But Saigusa Haruka is not here right now. She's probably off, playing around somewhere. Futaki-san added that not even Haruka-san's bag was there. I see. Well then, I guess that's that. I suppose I'd have to leave it just finding out Haruka-san's class. It would be better to not worry about it now. Send her a text and talk to her tomorrow. Thanks. I stiffly thanked Futaki-san for her time and returned to the corridor. Aren't you going to ask? I suddenly heard her voice from behind me. I turned back. What? What am I supposed to ask? Don't you want to know why Saigusa Haruka didn't tell you what class she was in? What are you trying to say? She wasn't hiding it or anything. There was just never a reason to mention it. Why not? Why not? You're going to use the excuse that she didn't tell you because you didn't ask. Didn't you think there was some kind of reason? Could you get to the point? If you want to say something, spit it out. What a simpleton. Futaki-san shrugged. Hiding things from others isn't something good folks do. Everyone has one or two secrets, don't you, Futaki-san? I don't make a big deal out of what class someone is in. Futaki-san gave a derisive laugh. I decided the conversation was over and started to walk away. Coming back here again will be pointless. She's never here after all. This isn't a place for Saigusa Haruka. I didn't respond to Futaki-san, and instead continued walking. Man, she gets on my nerves. Anyway, for now, I'll just text Haruka-san. I decided to send a note saying, don't worry about what Chief Futaki said, and sent. I returned to the corridor. During lunch break, I was on my way to buy some juice when I saw a very odd pairing. Yo! Ha! To! It was Kood. She was doing something in front of one of the courtyard benches. Kanata-san, I've got your shadow! Kuryavodka, you really like this game, don't you? You could say that. I'm a shadow tag maniac. Shadow stitch jutsu. Don't you think you look a little silly doing that, Kuryavodka? Sorry about that. Well, it's fine by me. Though I like playing shadow tag best in the evening. Ah, I see. In the evening, even short people have tall shadows, right? Why did you guess it was because of that? But I think I can see the fun in playing shadow tag. Though it seems like the kind of game one would play alone. Kanata-san, were you like that as well? Me? Who knows? Futaki-san glanced in my direction. Caught by surprise, I averted my gaze. Well, I'm off. Okay, please take care of Druka! Futaki-san stood up from the bench and left the courtyard. Cood! Riki, what's up? Do you often hang out with that person? I do! Is something the matter with Kanata-san? She looks like a hard person to approach, but she's really nice. Did you have something you wanted to talk with Kanata-san about? No, it's nothing. I was just curious. Oh? I guess that's all right then. I parted with the slightly confused-looking Cood. Haruka-san was walking hurriedly down the hallway. Haruka-san! Flustered by her speed, I called out to her and gave chase. Haruka-san stopped, looking somehow sullen. Did you need something? My thought process stalled for a second. What was that? It felt like the exact same tone of voice I had heard earlier. Oh, I thought my cats are fighting. What? I didn't really need anything specific. Okay, then bye-bye. Wait, Haruka-san! I grabbed Haruka-san's arm as she made to walk away. That hurts, Riki-kun. Sorry. I hurriedly released her. Did you read the text I sent you? Text? Oh, that, yeah. I read it. Oh, well, I'm not really bothered by that stuff. I mean it. I just wanted to tell you that in person, Haruka-san. Thanks. Her reply was blunt. Was that all? Yeah. Fine. Haruka-san pondered for a moment. Why do you even care about me? Eh? Nothing, never mind. Oh, that's right. Your classroom is all the way in the back of the school, right? I bet you get a nice sun in there. In response, Haruka-san directed a puzzled expression at me. Yeah, you're right. Was finally found out. How did you find it? Alright, so this is a turning point, so I'm going to save it. So yes, save. Put a memo down as a good versus bad end. Alright, so now we're going to go do the good ending first, as we usually do. So here we go. Saw it in the class register. It was on the class register. In the faculty office? Yeah. You asked the teacher, huh? I guess that's that then. Sorry, I didn't mean to pry. It's fine. It's something you can find out easily enough, after all. But odd, shouldn't have. Haruka-san murmured something under her breath. What was that? It's nothing. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that. I mean, I said it before, too. So? I thought I'd like to come visit you in your class for a change sometimes. Ugh, I blurted out something strange without meaning to. Haruka-san was pop-eyed. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. I was feeling incredibly embarrassed. Thanks, Riki-kun. You're welcome. Well, I've got stuff to do, so I should run, Haruka-san looked over her shoulder as she turned to leave. Sorry for not telling you about my class. You were searching for it? Yeah. I'm usually not there, well, only during class, really. But besides that, I never stick around there. Nothing good would come of sticking around. If you need something, I'd rather you texted me. Then if I can come, I will. Okay, I got it. Bye-bye, Riki-kun. Right, bye-bye, Haruka-san. I watched as Haruka-san walked away. After school, I was taking out the garbage bags when I spotted a familiar face. Cood, what's up? Yes? Cood dropped the black plastic bag she'd been carrying onto the concrete. It made an unpleasant sound, like that of ceramics and metal rubbing together. Did you need me for something? Well, no, but what's wrong? Your face is pale. No, I'm fine. Reiki. Coot started to say something, but then shook her head. It's nothing. Coot left, swaying a little on her feet. I wonder what was up with Coot. You'll be in the way if you keep standing there. Huh? Sorry. Huh? It was Futaki-san, a gray cardboard box in her arms. Do you want some help with that? No need. Futaki-san rejected my offer without a second thought, and then proceeded to set down the box in the garbage area. It's really too much. Just how many times? As she straightened her back, she began to mutter to herself under her breath. There was a pile of books in her hands. I glanced at their spines. The titles all had to do with, aerospace engineering, propulsion, that weird space in the middle of the word is like fucking with my head. Propulsion and things like that. She sure reads some tough books. What? Nothing. I stood up and stepped out of the garbage area. After I had gone a few steps, I halted and looked back. Futaki-san was still in the same spot, flipping through the books. What was she doing? Tilting my head in puzzlement, I walked back toward the classroom. That evening in the hallway, another day draws to an end. Through the windows, I could hear the various clubs having their activities. Do you have a minute now, Eriki? A sudden voice called out to stop me. You wanted me? I asked with a little hesitation. I'll be blunt. Stop acting chummy with Saigusa Haruka. What the hell do you mean by that? I asked in a slow and deliberate tone, biting off the words. I didn't hold back. She was telling me in so many words to stop seeing Haruka-san. There's no special meaning. I'm telling you to stop. I did not answer. That was the clearest way I could express my rejection of her words. No, Eriki, do you not understand Japanese? Futaki-san slowly lifted up her right hand and waved it in front of my face, as though making sure I had all my wits about me. I already told you the reason behind this. Do you not remember? You're pretty forgetful. Futaki-san tried to leave after saying that, but I called out to stop her. Futaki-san! What? I don't have time for frivolous questions now, Eriki. I thank you for the warning. I heard something weird. I wonder what my cats are getting into, unless it was just one of them scratching at the post. I think it was. Anyways, when I said that, Futaki-san laughed through her nose. Even though you have no intention of listening to me. She was right. My gratitude was purely sarcastic. I don't know of anyone who would blithely obey the orders from another to stop befriending someone else. But you're correct in calling it a warning. I'm trying to prevent the two of you from being hurt, though I guess with you there is no helping it. Futaki-san left it at that. She shot me one last cold glance and then disappeared down the hallway. What's that supposed to mean? Reiki-kun! As I walked along gloomily, a voice called out and made me stop. It belonged to Haruka-san. What's up? You're making a scary face. Is it really that scary? Yep, totally. It's a face heavy enough to freak out Marty McFly. Like this, she said, and stretched her cheeks out while cackling strangely. Haruka-san? I started to talk, then let out a sigh. Really, I wondered if she already knew about the whole affair. What kind of face would she make if I told her someone had instructed me not to go or to get near her? Well, most of the time, she was just stringing me along anyway. It's nothing. My answer was rather blunt. Why was I worrying so much about this? It was somewhat upsetting. Why? When Futaki-san said those words, I had clearly felt my heart rebel strongly against them. What was wrong with me? Gyo? Haruka-san looked surprised for a moment. Hey, Reiki-kun! What, Haruka-san? Do you have a little time? What if I said I didn't? I said the words without thinking. I felt a numbing tingle somewhere in my heart as I said it. Don't worry, I won't make trouble for you. Her words surprised me. Without even a displeased look on her face after my unkind words, she just tilted her head with her hands joined behind her. Do you have time? Haruka-san asked me with a serious face. Yes. Yeah? Come this way! Haruka-san guided me to a classroom and I stepped in. Interior-wise, it should have been the same as my own classroom. Yet it was different. The bulletin board was in the back. The arrangement and number of desks. They were just minute differences, but they added up to create a strange feeling as though I had entered a different realm altogether. I like rooms where there's no one else. Ideally, anywhere else than my own classroom. Haruka-san murmured quietly. It's like it becomes a different place. Without realizing it, Haruka-san had basically voiced my thoughts. It's surprising there's no one here. Usually a student or two will still remain in the class at this hour. Maybe they're all busy with their clubs or something? I wondered which class this room belonged to. Needless to say, the time schedule written on the blackboard was different from the one I usually saw. Come here! Haruka-san took me to the back of the classroom, where there was an open space. The evening sun was shining in through the window. Haruka-san plopped herself down on the floor. All right, you take a seat too, Riki-kun. Sit! Haruka-san patted the floor next to her. Haruka-san, won't you get your skirt dirty? It doesn't bother me, so no worries or hurries. Sitting around on the floor without a care in the world, she really was like a child. Smiling wryly, I sat down next to her. From the floor, I looked up at the window. Orange-colored light streamed in to fill the room. From my lowered perspective, I discovered that the classroom really did feel larger. Here! Wait, what's this? It's an earphone. Haven't you ever seen one? Well, I have, but why an earphone? Ta-da! Haruka-san brought out her cell phone. Flip! She slid a part of the cell phone up, revealing the keypad with a small sliding noise followed by a click. Let's listen to some music together. I opened my mouth, feeling a little bewildered. Isn't that sort of a non-sequitur? Hey, keep your voice down. Haruka shushed me while placing one finger against my lips. I don't want to get caught here by the prefects again. Again? Haruka-san withdrew her finger and murmured, Yeah, again? Haruka-san plugged in the pair of earphones and handed me one with the longer cord. There was an L marked on the earphone. Finally, I understood what Haruka-san wanted me to do. Come a little closer or it won't reach, Riki-kun. Okay. I clumsily scooted closer to Haruka-san. For an instant, I caught a pleasant citrusy scent wafting from her hair. Soon, we were shoulder to shoulder. Regardless of our uniforms being in the way, I felt awkward pressed against the warmth of her body. Well then, let's play! A slightly strange and asynchronous melody began to play through the earphones. Haruka-san, the song is kind of weird. Sorry, it's a little unusual. I made it myself. You made it? Yep. When was that? My memory's a little fuzzy. You made it that long ago? I think in April? That's no time ago at all. Haruka-san, are you telling me you have some kind of teenage amnesia? What? Why are you looking at me like I'm some kind of dim-witted kid? You're so mean. Anyway, setting that aside, what's the song called? I'm being brushed aside. Anyway, the song's title is From Melmac with Love. I silently swiped Haruka-san's cell phone and punched the next song button. Ah, we were about to get to the best part, and I spent so much time on it too. You're so mean, Riki-kun. I ignored Haruka-san's protests and continued to hit the next button. After a few presses, I found a girly pop song with a good tempo and finally returned the cell phone. Riki-kun, do you know this vocalist? Only by name. I think I remember seeing it on a TV program for her new release. It's not a new release. It's been around for a long, long time. Oh, well, anyway, it's a good song. I think so too. Looks like we have similar tastes. The song ended and the next one started. Why is the next song an enka? It was definitely not my taste. Doesn't it just get you fired up? This song's about going up north to see the sea, so no, not really. It says the Mongols were strong. I'm pretty sure it said magnolias. Next was, let's take the A train. Don't wind instruments get filled with saliva? I wonder how they deal with that. It was a most random conversation. Want to go to the wind instrument club and ask sometime? That sounds fun. Nice thinking. Let's go tomorrow. Hey, wait. Don't. You better not do that. And so, like that, the two of us sat listening to music on Haruka-san's cell phone. Well, I've got stuff to do. We'll have to call it a day. Riki-kun, bye-bye. Yeah, see ya. Haruka-san and I went our separate ways. Haruka-san. After school. When I saw Haruka-san, I called out to her. Riki-kun. When Haruka-san recognized my voice, she gave a small startled jump. Yeah, Riki-kun. You really did show up, just like you always do. You're the one who always runs into me. She was talking nonsense straight off the bat, just as always. Yeah, I guess you could put it that way too. Were you headed somewhere? Haruka-san had a hammer and pliers poking out of one of the pockets of her school uniform. The other pocket was bulging as well. Riki-kun, you have time? Sure, I'm not busy. Then wanna do it with me? Do what? When I say it, I mean it. First it's like and then there's a and then it's time for the sticky stuff. And then sticky? And it'll feel really good. Haruka-san let out a relaxed sigh with a dreamy look on her face. So let's? Haruka-san whispered the question, still dreamy-eyed. Sure? While I nodded, I felt my heart picking up tempo for some reason. Whoa. What? Hey, Haruka-san? What is it, Riki-kun? So, what exactly is this and sticky stuff happening? The comes first. Here, press on this board here. Press it! Okay, got it. I pressed on the seat of the wooden bench. Haruka-san hammered on it from above. Tap, tap. The cautious rapping of the hammer went. Okay, next to the part. Right, got it. I bent some of the plywood back. Like this? Yep, that's good. And now for the sticky stuff. Haruka-san pulled out a tube of glue. Then she applied it to the joint of the bench. Haruka-san, why are you doing bench maintenance? 'Cause the bench is damaged, right? Well, I mean, I get that, but a well-maintained bench feels good. Like when I'm taking a nap while cutting class. Are you sure you should be napping instead of going to class? Yeah, well, guess it's about done. Haruka-san softly stroked the back of the bench. We've got a strong bond, this bench and me. When I first started school here, I used to sit here all day long sometimes. Sorry to put you to work all of a sudden, Riki-kun. Well, I'm the vice president of the maintenance committee. So if you ask me to help, of course I will. Ah, that's right. I did say something like that. Haruka-san mumbled, smacking herself lightly on the forehead. That's harsh, you forgot? I made a dumbfounded face as I stared at her with my hands on my waist. Yeah, I might have forgotten. But you remembered? Well, it was something meaningful to me, at least. Haruka-san slipped the hammer and screwdriver back into her pocket. It looked like the job was finished. I see. Something wrong? Nope, thanks, Reiki-kun. No problem. It makes me happy fixing up stuff not just for myself, but for everyone. When I said that, Haruka-san gave me a rather bemused smile. Reiki-kun. Right when Haruka-san opened her mouth to continue. That bench is marked to be scrapped now, Iriki. There was a cold voice. Futaki-san. I looked over my shoulder and there she was. There were signs posted prohibiting the use of this area during lunch. I wonder who it was that tore them down. Haruka-san was silent. What are you talking about? We've scheduled for a new bench to be put in. And thus, we'll be removing the old one. The rough wood on it has become a sliver hazard. Here we go again, Haruka-san muttered. I've already discussed this with you also, is that not right? It'll be fine if we just fix it, Haruka-san mumbled sullenly to herself. It won't be fine, that's the point. It would be too expensive to get a professional to repair it properly. Even though we've already cleared this all with the board, why are you still making trouble? This bench is better, I keep telling you. Haruka-san started to formulate a weak comeback, but Futaki-san cut her off. I don't have to listen to your selfish complaints. Therefore, Saigusa Haruka, what you've done here is meaningless. I even specifically warned you about this earlier. Under the fiery scolding, Haruka-san hung her head in dejection. I noticed that her clenched fists were beginning to tremble. You took it upon yourself to fix the frame of the old bulletin board also, right? And then you made a total fuss when it was time to switch out the whiteboards. And as for this... I get it already, you don't have to keep saying it. Haruka-san's head snapped up as she cut Futaki-san off. Your actions are... I get it already, give it a rest! Haruka-san yelled to drown out Futaki-san's voice. In her rejection of those words of reprimand, she shouted at the top of her lungs. It'll be fine if I stop, won't it? Haruka-san made as if to kick the bench. Haruka-san! But she let her foot drop back down to the ground. It looked like her self-control had gotten the upper hand before she could actually kick it. In her irritation, Haruka-san began stomping her foot on the ground. The screwdriver slipped out of her pocket. In her blind rage, Haruka-san jolted away. You're always like this, getting in my way! Haruka-san, quit it! Stop it! Haruka-san! I caught Haruka-san's arm and held her back as she tried to grab for Futaki-san. What's this? Isn't your anger a little misplaced? How unseemly, Saigusa Haruka. You're the one in the wrong here. You even admitted it yourself. For heaven's sake! I somehow managed to drag Haruka-san, who had been planting her feet firmly on the ground away from the bench. Futaki-san, I addressed her while I tried to turn Haruka-san away. What? Is it really necessary to preach at Haruka-san like this for the things she does? Haven't I only given a clear reason why she shouldn't have to do the things she has? But even so, you still don't have to talk to her this way. What's this, Saigusa Haruka? As I began to defend Haruka-san, an insinuating tone crept into Futaki-san's voice. A friend only, was he? And yet, now you're having him fight your battles. So, anyone who gets in the way of what you want to do is in the wrong. And then you throw a fit and make another stand up for yourself. Why don't you speak with your own mouth? But no, it's too much to ask of you. You've always been like this. You completely ignore the trouble you cause for others. So now that you've gotten someone else embroiled into your troubles, what are you going to do? You're the worst. The worst! But that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that way you are notified every time that I upload. I will see you guys again in the next video. I love you so much. Bye-bye!